Hi, here we are in Jeremy's classroom. There's Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Steve.
I'm going to just have you note that people can sit here. See if I get close, it says just click to sit. Let me show you what I look like. So that's me. Here I'm talking to you. Now I'm coming in desktop. So even though there's some gesturing, um, it's simple gesturing, all based on my voice. So I'm just sitting at a computer with some controls. So let me turn around again. And and this is my view. And we could see there's Jeremy. He's got a podium here, which actually he can control. And then he could normally on that black screen, he could actually get a clone of what he's doing. And then the students are seeing this on the front screen. And then, boy, he's got it all worked out here. Over here is for the students who aren't in VR, he's using Twitch, and this will be a movie live of what he's doing. You can see it's somewhat set up already. And then over here, he's got a streamed chat, which you can see, and he's showing it to us, which is where students can text to him. So we think this is really a bit of um, the classroom of the future. So let me just maybe interview Jeremy a little bit. I'm just gonna navigate around so we can see a little bit more of his body. There you go. So so Jeremy, you're it's so great to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good today, Steve, even though it's not technically today in the so-called real world, it's nighttime, but you can't tell by the view of Banff outside that actually it appears to be sunny.
Oh yes. Oh, that's interesting that that ends up being imagery. So again, you could change the world for anything you want for the best teaching, which is being in a wonderful place. And then you're different than me. You're actually in a full VR headset with a controller. So you're like really seeing me here this and you're walking around. So this is like teaching for you as you've taught this class many times before in real world. This is very similar, I assume.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's really just like teaching in front of a real class for me in immersive VR. It's a little bit blurry sometimes with the aliasing, but other than that, it's and the graphics are all cartoons in a way, but at the same time, it really is. Sometimes I forget I'm teaching to actual students in actual space, so the students can log in here, and it really feels like yeah, I'm teaching a class for what you might say for real.
And as I turn my camera again, I have very simple gesturing all based on my voice, and I can do some emotes. So I'll just show people that I could dance. I guess. Oh, look at that! And I could wave, but it's still more like LOL stuff where I think I have to think about it and then do it. And it looks pretty good with lip sync and shadows and everything. But I'm going to turn around again. But you're different because you have controllers and a head mounted display. So you're literally doing things physically. So you're standing up right now and um, and being like you're in this real world.
Absolutely, yeah. It feels like I'm really in this world. I use inverse kinematics for my hands, which are Vive controllers, and it sort of maps to the arms, the cartoon arms I have here. And I can use either a dial on my left controller to walk around, or I can even walk in real space towards you, and my avatar will correspond by walking towards you. Uh, so it's really quite impressive what you can do
And I
with VR.
noticed it, uh, why don't you talk and walk towards me? I like that you get. I think you get louder as you get close to me. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Well, this is your legacy, isn't it, Steve? The spatial attenuation through audio.
Yeah.
So if I walk towards you, oh, okay,
So
I
I
get
did the
kind of
same
close to
thing.
you. Hello, hello,
Oh,
and then
oh yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's
Yeah.
much louder. That's actually really good. Okay, so
Hello.
that really helps to make you feel things are real. And then if it's spatial, sometimes you know when someone's talking to you from one side versus the other, so you instinctively know which way to turn without even seeing them with that. Okay. And then boy, you're getting it seems like neck and body, but that's all just because of the controllers, the difference between the controllers. It really works quite well. Like I saw you the other day, like point to the screen behind you and talk about it. Yeah, so that's really good. Okay. Now, is it odd that you can decide whether to use the controller to move versus physically walking?
Well, the problem with physically walking, there is a guardian system. So if I walk too close to something, there will be, if I mapped it right, there will be a line that is a virtual barrier that says don't walk or you move my controllers further, or my
Right,
hands, you could say further. Sometimes though, because the Vive is a tethered or wired connection, sometimes I have to be careful not to trip over my own wire.
right.
So I don't tend to walk in real space that much. I tend to use my dial on my left-hand controller, which I'm doing right now on this controller, to move, walk back and forth. And I
And
can
I,
use the other controller to do
and
this.
you could literally fly if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Is it right?
let's do that right now.
Oh
Here we
my
go.
goodness.
Yeah. I'll
Oh,
just
there
come
you
back
are.
down for you. Yeah.
Wow, so you flew to the back of the room. Amazing. Okay, so this so for folks who have like a tethered Quest or HTC Vive or other tethered things, meaning that it's working with a computer, you could come on here and again, I'll just show you. Unlike me, who's doing this very still really good, I'm turning looking at myself, but for like I know I'm on a desktop and I'm not getting that same view by turning my head and all that extra. So I mean, there's like the what we call the proprioceptive system that you actually feel your muscles moving in your body, and of course the vestibular system because you're moving your head and your ears and your balance all feel that. So I'm not you can get my simple version of it, but you have the full tilt as you're saying. It's after a while you literally forget that it's different than what you do every semester when you teach this class.
Yeah, it's totally like being in a real class. Seriously, once I get into the flow of the PowerPoint and everything, it's really like, I can even point to students and talk to them. I can even go behind them and go up the stairs and speak to them, or I can gesture, I can itemize things, with my hands. I can gesture about course content and things to express,
Right.
or give line item points all
That's
through
all
that
great.
kind of gesturing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really good stuff. Yeah, I mean, in certain like bot systems, we would have to make all those as animations and then you'd have to choose them. And of course, there would never be enough and they wouldn't be at the right speed. And you could actually decide if it's three items that you would show three versus five. So it would be a lot different than picking it from a menu. Um, well, thanks. That gives me a sense. So again, um, there's a lot more you could do, and you could have. Obviously, we're here by ourselves, but it's just really good to see how you're doing modern day teaching. What is the class?
the class is COGS 100 or Cognitive Science 100. I teach 200 students, 100 per section, so 2 sections.
Okay, and it's quite interesting because you also do talk about perception and how the brain works. When I walked in on class, you were talking about what's real and what isn't, so to speak. So I think it was it really fits with being in a virtual world and getting people to think about perception and the mind in a really interesting way.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of weird to talk about the virtual world examples because normally I'm in the real world trying to explain virtual world examples, but now it's a weird situation where I have to try and explain the real world when we're in this virtual world. So I kind of have to invert the examples when I talk
Uh,
about the nature of reality.
right, isn't that interesting? Yeah, you're on the other side of the mirror, right?
Exactly.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. I'm going to stop the recording here.